This is Parker,
Maritess, Laura,
Caroline, and back with us for our big anniversary episode is
Alissa
and Evie. Welcome to our special 5th anniversary episode of Med-Surg Moments, the AMSN podcast. Celebrating our 5th year and having achieved over 100,000 downloads, reaching Med-Surg nurses in over 100 countries, this podcast continues to be an engaging look at the lives of and surrounding medical surgical nurses.
And as always, we're proud Med-Surg nurses just like you, sharing our stories, insights, and experiences to support you in your nursing journey.
Our episode today is going to be a memorable one, the 5th anniversary of Med-Surg Moments and a reunion of former co-hosts. We are truly delighted to welcome back two familiar voices and former Med-Surg Moments co-hosts, Alissa and Evie, for the big celebration. As you know, we always start with personal updates, and since we know you're anxious to hear all about what's happened since the last time we heard from them, let's begin with Alissa and Evie.
It is awesome to be back here with the co-hosts, original and the ones that joined after I left. It's been about a little over a year. I have changed jobs. I've continued to work on my PhD. I'm going to be a grandma. My daughter is expecting. My son went to college and came back and got his diesel mechanic certification. So that's been really exciting. I've moved out of clinical education and more into like a quality improvement and research job, which I'm really excited about. I'm working with general internal medicine physicians. Basically, it's a position to bridge between physicians and nursing. And also it's got a strong research component, which is really helpful for me as I'm working on my PhD. And then one thing that I also just started is I am one of the directors for AMSN, and I am a liaison for the podcast. So no longer on the front lines, but working behind the scenes now. So it has been a really fun year for me, full of changes, but really happy to be back here and celebrating 5-year anniversary. What about you, Evie? What's been going on with you? You've been gone a little bit longer than me.
Let me say, first of all, I'm so glad to be here with you all in this anniversary episode. And Alissa, all those updates, wow, good for you. And congratulations on all the promotions and all the endeavors you are partaking. So what's going on with me? I'll say this, what hasn't been going on? It has been busy in the last, I think, almost 2 years since I've been a co-host with all of you. My daughter just turned 18 and we had a huge surprise 18th birthday party for her. She was totally unaware. That was so fun. Still getting calls about how memorable it was. She'll be graduating soon. She's a senior in high school. I just completed certification in the NCI, the Nonviolent Interventions Program, to teach the advanced physical skills. So I just went through a training, and now I am also able to start co-instructing and instructing that particular portion of the annual requirements, which is going to be very interesting. Personally, again, for myself, I think when I last left you all, I think I had just started hiking or adding some hiking, or I call it mini hiking to my walking and my dancing. And I'm still doing that. And over the last, I think 3 years, I think I've lost almost 30 pounds. Now I'm plateauing. I can't get rid of these last 10, but nevertheless, I am maintaining what I did lose. So that's exciting for me. It's sort of a motivation to just keep going even through the plateaus. As far as the clinical or the professional side as well, I am the beginnings of the transitions of moving into more leadership and management roles. So I'm looking forward to that. And I know ups and downs, ins and outs, but that's a part of life. It's a part of growth. And I think I'm just ready for it.
I am very excited to finally meet you. I used to just listen to you guys, and I'll tell you, the first episode that I don't remember the episode number, but it was you, Parker, and you were explaining something about we need to be more involved. And I'm like, I'm not a new grad. Why am I not involved? And then you were very, very passionately speaking about you need to be involved in organizations. And here I am, done with school, not really doing anything. What am I doing with my life? Here I am in my car listening, like, I should do what they're doing. I should really do my certifications, additional certifications. So I want to say thank you to you and Parker for really sharing that. Personal updates, still, my schedule is still so packed, but you just keep on going. Go by the calendar day by day. And if you find something in between, enjoy the moment. That's what it is. I've been very busy with legislative work. I wanted to share that. And I really wanted to share it out there because I just started legislative work recently when I joined an organization. And I felt like we're not really sharing what we do as nurses. We are not united. We belong in our organizations. We share our experiences to other people, but to the legislators who really need to hear our work conditions, to really need to hear what our profession can do, the situations of our patients, I think we really need to be more out there. And so that is adding to my schedule. I'm not complaining. I really love it. I'll tell you, I really love the busyness, the scheduling. I'm meeting a lot of people, new people, and it's really helping me a lot to learn more about myself, to just be comfortable and just say that this is you. You just have to accept. You don't need to change anything. I always laugh and I always smile, and they're all very serious people. So it's okay. I'm like, that's it. That's okay. Well, personal life, family wise, we're planning on a trip. We promised ourselves we're going to have 2 out-of-country trips. So we're planning on that, hoping that will happen. My kids are really looking forward to that since they're homeschooled and not really going out. So this is their prize for doing a great job at school. And I'll share that journey as I hope it happens. I really do hope. Laura, what is new with you?
Hi, Maritess. I want to say that I saw your post. I think it was on LinkedIn or Instagram. I can't remember, but at that legislative session with you and your husband, very, very, very inspiring work. I loved reading about your experience there. So I thank you so much for posting that. So I hope to get involved in that someday. But right now, my life is eating, sleeping, working, and school. That's it. That's all. Every day I come home and I have something to read or something to write. And I'm so critical of myself that I end up rewriting and rewriting and rewriting. So it's just every day. It is every day. But I am enjoying the program, my DNP program. I definitely feel like I'm learning a lot. I am very rusty at this APA format, the scholarly writing, but it's all starting to come back. It's all starting to come back. I'm about 5 weeks in and very, very, very excited. And also doing quite well in the class. So I'm excited about that. Personally, my kids are doing well. My husband's doing well. Work is going well. So I don't have any complaints. I'm really, really, really happy. And I feel blessed to be where I am right now. Before we continue on with our personal updates, we'd like to take a moment to share the bittersweet news that this will be Caroline and Parker's final episode. Both Caroline and Parker have been co-hosts of Med-Surg Moments since the beginning 5 years ago, and they will truly be missed. Caroline and Parker, on behalf of the Academy of Medical Surgical Nurses, we offer our appreciation, gratitude, and love for your commitment and the outstanding job you've done over these past 5 years. And I will say I will miss the two of you so much. It has been so nice getting to know you and working on this podcast with you.
Thank you guys for your love and appreciation. I will say that AMSN definitely changed the trajectory of my professional career. I didn't know what certification was prior to 2018. I say it often, I really think that certification should be stressed more as something that nurses need to be certified in their specialty. I think it's pretty important, and AMSN has just really allowed me to grow and evolve as a nurse and encouraged me to continue my education. As you guys know, I'm currently in the acute care NP program at Duke University. I haven't gotten bitten by the DNP bug yet. I'm kind of hoping I won't, but we'll see. I just want to thank Terry Hinckley. She's just an amazing person. I remember meeting her back in 2019 in Chicago, and I swear I have known her my whole life just off of that interaction during the conference alone. So thank you, everyone. Thank you to Stuart for being amazing and being patient with me, even when I would cancel last minute because of school or work or what have you. He's just very gracious and generous as a person. I'm definitely going to miss the podcast. I'm just grateful for the opportunity to be able to do something I love. So yeah, thank you guys. And thank you to my co-hosts, to everyone, to Caroline, Laura, Maritess, Alissa. Thank you so much, Evie. It's been great working with you guys.
First of all, thank you, Laura, for your kind words. It's been a wild ride these last 5 years. I came into the Med-Surg Moments podcast not knowing the first thing about this platform. I had to ask my kids what podcasts were all about. I've now become one of those people that riding in the car, if I'm not listening to music, then I'm listening to a podcast. It's been a huge honor and it's been a privilege, and I'm glad I lasted so long. In 5 years, goodness, what's happened? I left Georgia, moved to Florida, left Florida, moved back to Georgia, changed jobs, didn't anticipate leaving the corporation that I worked for 15 years, but an opportunity knocked on the door, and now I'm working for a workforce solutions company as the director of education. So many people say, are you retiring? I'm like, do I look that old? But no, I'm not retiring. My commitment now for the rest of the years in the profession are to give back as much as I can. I've been at this now for almost 40 years. It's unbelievable when I say that. And so I just hope that I can share my experiences, my lessons learned with all of the new and upcoming nurses out there, this crew in particular. Parker said she knew nothing about certification. That's always been a passion of mine, and maybe I influenced that decision to get certified just a little bit. Laura, you finally started your DNP, which is fabulous. If you need a mentor or just someone to talk through things, I didn't stick with my program, but I really hope that you will stick with yours. If ever you have that moment when you think this is too much, just text me or email me. And then Maritess, gosh, you are small and mighty. You really are. Your professional life has grown in leaps and bounds. Your commitment to your family is incredible. I wish you all nothing but the best as we move forward. And to Evie and to Alissa, it was a great ride. It's good to see you again. I'm sure that we will cross paths, certainly Alissa and I, because I don't intend to not be an active part of AMSN. It's still very much a part of my life.
Just to say again, I can't tell you how much I'm going to miss interacting with you on this podcast, but I will definitely reach out to you. Sitting with the two of you made me see a future that I wanted to pursue. How involved you are with AMSN and how much joy you get, what you've learned and what you taught me. And I do see the both of you as mentors to me.
Thank you for that. And I will see you in Toronto for sure, right?
Yay, definitely. And Parker, it's been wonderful getting to know you. And I know that we connected on one of the recent episodes because I shared with you that I lost my mom. I lost my mom right before I turned 30 years old. So it's been a long time since I've been without her. But just connecting with you and sharing those experiences brought me some peace that day. And I hope that you will find that peace. And I wish you all the best with your program. I have no doubt that you're going to be an awesome NP.
Thank you. That really means a lot to me.
Caroline, I'm really going to miss your accent. That is really what I'm going to miss. And I already have a plan. I'm going to re-listen to the other podcasts. I feel like I'm always talking to the queen or listening to the queen. So, but seriously, I wanted to say thank you because you've been a mentor. You are a mentor. You probably don't know how many people you've touched. When I listened to the podcast previously, when I wasn't co-host yet, I really listened and I said, wow, she's so knowledgeable. She really is passionate with what she's doing. So really thank you for that. And Parker, I really am going to miss Parker because she has a very calm voice. I'm trying to train myself to speak moderately with that tone and calmness. Really appreciate your vulnerability. I said this many times. It's very important to be yourself. Thank you all so much. Appreciate you.
Well, after all that, as the saying goes, every ending is definitely a new beginning. I'm pleased to have been given the honors to announce that there'll be 3 new Med-Surg Moments co-hosts with incredible personal stories that you will meet in the next episode. But for now, why don't we move on to our 5th anniversary celebration?
On behalf of the Academy of Medical Surgical Nurses, I'm very excited to welcome you to the first episode of Med-Surg Moments, the AMSN podcast.
What does everyone remember about their very first episode as co-host?
I remember being super nervous. My name is Chelsea Parker. You have to excuse me for sounding congested. I have a little bit of a cold, but I'm recording here in Los Angeles right now. I guess that kind of speaks to how I love to travel. I'm currently a nurse working and living in Charlottesville. I'll share this a little bit with our listeners. We don't record live, so we have an amazing technician / genius, Stuart, who edits all of our episodes. So I remember feeling some sort of relief when I found out that it wasn't going to be recorded live, which I thought was like amazing. This was like 5 years ago, so I knew what podcasts were and stuff, but I had never been on one. So I found it to be a unique opportunity. And I think one of the favorite things I learned early on is that Stuart edits out all of our and likes, which I think was pretty cool.
Of information.
We need some wine, I think.
Right.
Did we skip a question? And
I'll take it from the top there.
I mean, let me say it again.
Sorry, forgot about my personal update. One of the first things I also remember about the very first episode was just the passion everyone had for nursing and the passion everyone had to push our profession forward. And I think that's something that has definitely helped to grow the show for sure.
I cannot remember what the topic was for my first podcast. I was very, very nervous and wasn't quite sure how I was going to fit into the dynamic that you guys already had. You guys made us feel so welcome, and Stuart was such a good support for us, and it went smoothly, and I was proud of myself for speaking up. It took a little bit for me to get used to the flow of things, but you guys made it so enjoyable.
Yes, Laura, I remember that first episode. We were both new. That was a relief for me, really, because like you, I was very nervous, and I'm like, what am I going to do? What am I going to say? What if I started like blurting out something and then I heard, oh, we can do edits. Oh, you can change this and that. Oh, and you can. That was really great. And then finding out that we were in the same organization at that time.
That's right. That's right.
I saw your name and I looked you up in Outlook and I think I WebExed you on the side and I was like,
yeah,
oh my
remember
goodness.
That. She was in Florida and I'm in Texas.
Yeah.
But we worked for the same corporation. That was so funny.
And I told my coworkers right away, and I told them, this is so cool. There are 2 people in the same organization, and we're going to be in a podcast. It's such amazing. It gave me a lot of relief, but I was really very nervous as well.
I remember my first episode that I recorded, and back then the format was different. And so it was just us and a guest in the beginning, and my guest was the CEO of AMSN back then. So I remember being very nervous and not wanting to make a fool out of myself because this is the first time we're recording a podcast. The first season was very different. It was one host and one guest. So it was really intimidating. And I think it was after we had done some roundtable episodes that we realized we really liked that format better. We liked the co-hosts playing off of each other better and having those discussions and feeling more casual. So before we got to that format, that first season, we were groundbreaking and doing these episodes with guests, and it was intimidating and scary. And I interviewed Terry Hinckley, and I fangirled the whole time, of course, but then I didn't want that to come across because I'm supposed to be a professional podcast host. So I think we all had nerves on our first episode. It's very intimidating. It's that fear of the unknown. But the man behind the curtain, it's too bad nobody else gets to have the joy of working with Stuart like we do.
Yeah, I have to say that once Stuart coached me a little and said, just make it conversational, I didn't rely as heavily on a script or doing much research before an episode. I only did research when we had a guest speaker, and like you, Alissa, I didn't want to sound foolish. And so that was my biggest piece of advice. And I didn't say this earlier, but Stuart Meyer is just the greatest producer ever. And he has made us all sound like broadcasting professionals, accent or not. I'm very grateful for him and his expertise and his patience, because I swear out of 100 episodes, it feels like 95 of them I had technical difficulties. So thank you for that, Stuart.
Wow. I remember, again, like all of you, the nervousness. One of the things that I was really nervous about was the technology. I remember getting all of this equipment in the mail, and I'm thinking like, where this stuff goes, like, how do I do it? Which outlet or which insert does this go into? But like we've all just noted that our inimitable producer behind the scenes, The Wiz, he is excellent and patient and helping us work through all of those challenges. And I do remember, like Alissa was saying, we initially started off as one co-host with a guest. And we sort of kind of put our heads together, or maybe the light bulb kind of fell on us that, wow, when we're all together, there's this chemistry there and there's this camaraderie that just flows through the airwaves. So those were the early days, and we all just started to blossom in this role.
Yeah, those early days were a struggle because the questions were scripted. And so I felt like, I was like, why am I here? Like, I'm just reading these questions. And it was after the convention in Chicago in 2019, when we had the roundtable format at the convention, that we were like, oh, you know what? This works so much better.
Yeah, I think we can say we've all evolved into broadcasting specialists. Well, that's what I'm going to call myself anyway.
Well, and I think even later, after we adopted the roundtable, it made it easier for us when we did have a guest, because we've still done guests since then, but it made it easier for us to transition that into a more natural conversation type episode, because we evolved over time and we just got better at it.
Yeah. I think we all knew we had evolved when we had guests, and the guests were as nervous as we were at the beginning. And so we were able to instill confidence in them because we'd been there and bought that T-shirt. So we were able to share our expertise with our guests for sure.
Laura and Maritess, having been Med-Surg Moments listeners prior to being a co-host, what did you enjoy the most about the show that led you to pursuing being a co-host? And more importantly, who was your favorite co-host? I know it was me, just admit it.
I definitely did not have a favorite. You guys were all great. I was very much in awe. The very first episode I listened to was during COVID, and it was about staffing during the COVID times. I remember that was the first episode I listened to. And after I listened to that first one, then I started listening to them all. I started going back to the beginning. The reason I decided to apply when that opportunity came was I liked the fact that a lot of your podcasts were geared around making med-surg nurses feel important and feel empowered. You talked about finding joy. You talked about ways that you deal with situations at work. You shared patient stories. There was one episode about patient stories that I heard, and I have stories. I have patient stories that I think people would really like to hear. So that's when I got a little courageous and submitted that application when it first came out. Also, the DEI episodes were really good.
Well, I'll share one of the reasons why I really pursued. I produce my own podcast, and I'm not a good producer. I'm not. You know how you want to just, okay, let me do this kind of a thing. I used to do ghostwriting. I do blogging. And so I'm the frustrated journalist, perhaps you may say. But I started producing those. I had a few episodes. It's still up and running, but I've never added any additional episodes because I felt like when you're out there, when you wanted to really have a voice, you have to put yourself out there. You have to show up. I always say this, if there's no seat, create the seat. If there's a seat and you have more people who you want to come with you, you create a table. And so I find this podcast as a voice to share the stories that we have. We are here to share the positivity. We are here to share what we are seeing out there. And people can resonate on these stories. It can really have that impact. And so I felt like I have the need to really be there, be an advocate for our profession. Finding out too that Med-Surg specialty is not always valued. I remember one time one of the nurses said, I really don't want to be a Med-Surg nurse because it's just being a Med-Surg nurse. And I said, we need to sit down. Let's talk. Med-Surg is a certification. It's a specialty. And if you are in this specialty, you have the core competencies of being a nurse. And she stayed in the Med-Surg unit. So I think we need to really be the voice. And I see this platform as one of those. So I'm here until you need me, guys. So thank you. My favorite episode that really resonated with me was the stories of hope.
Believe it or not, I am a 20 plus year cancer survivor. It's one of those things I tend to remember when I am nursing, what an impact all those nurses made on me, whether they were the inpatient nurses, the one or two times I went neutropenic and had to be admitted, or my chemo nurses when I was going for my outpatient chemotherapy every other day, it seemed like. Most recently, I had a young man who plays football at one of the local colleges who was admitted for a reason other than his oncology diagnosis. He was about 2021, mother by the bedside. I walked into that room and it just hit me. I saw this young man with this brave battle after his freshman year of college, playing sports on a full scholarship. He turns around and has lung cancer. I saw myself in that bed, a young man with just such an amazing attitude and such a positive energy, going through not only the emergency he was having at the time, but such a long battle with something like cancer. I just looked at his mom. She's just so much reminded me of my mother, just by that bedside wanting to know everything that's going on. I said, I love your questioning attitude. As we're always told, practice with a questioning attitude, and I want them to question things. Sometimes they know things beyond what we know of their situation. You know, not everything comes out in their medical record all the time. Purchased a t-shirt from his school's website in support of him, and I've been in touch with him since, just telling him people are thinking about you, people are praying for you. I had shared my story with him. It was just a great moment to be human again. Probably one of my most amazing weeks I had nursing.
Until now, I cry when I listen to that. It's so emotional. It's one of the most emotional podcast episodes I think that we have. You know, finding the impact. Why are you a nurse? Why are you doing nursing? Again, it's being that voice of those who are trying to make it with the struggles that we have with our profession.
Certainly from the professional perspective, the conversations that we've had, the guests that we've had have really consolidated and affirmed my knowledge of medical surgical nursing. It's been a wonderful platform to remind our listeners that medical surgical nursing is a specialty, and it's great when we have guest speakers that affirm that as well. Personally, like I said, instead of just listening to music in the car now, I will put on a podcast as well as the AMSN podcasts. There's so many great ones out there, and it's a wonderful tool to learn on the hoof and take away key points from a short presentation of information. So I think that would be my 2 takeaways, certainly.
For me professionally, one of the things the podcast really opened for me was the volunteering with AMSN and getting involved. The podcast really was the first thing I volunteered for. And that just opened the door. I have done so much volunteer work with AMSN over the last 5 years. Even when I stopped the podcast a year ago, as you heard, I have continued doing work with it, and I just love it. And a part of that has come opportunities to go to convention and travel and do things that I genuinely love and enjoy. It's fulfilling to me. I am one of those crazy people that like to write tests. And so being able to write tests for AMSN, I find joy in that. On a personal note, I have listened to podcasts more. I've listened to this podcast, especially after I stopped recording it. I probably listened to this podcast more last year than I did the previous 4 because I was no longer recording it. That has been a fun change for me, as well as listening to it more, and being a listener instead of a host has been a lot of fun because now I get to be a consumer. And that has been a lot of fun for me. Definitely helped me learn how to speak more, although I still want to hear the blooper reel that Stuart is keeping from us. It's been a really fun experience. And it's been awesome to get to know people who have a shared interest in med-surg nursing, but are from all different walks of life. So I love that opportunity to just get to know different people and share those experiences with them. So it has been amazing getting to know all of you people. This has been amazing. So thank you.
I agree. It's been great meeting other med-surg nurses that feel as passionately about med-surg. Med-surg nurses deserve the same respect as any other nurse in this profession. I like the fact that we feel supported by this organization.
One of the ways that this experience has impacted me, both professionally and my personal life, is that it has really made me hone in more to line up my values with the way I work. Nursing is a broad field, many different specialties, but I think having that experience has made me reflect on some of the people that I've talked to. I'm a little bit more honed in on making sure that my values line up with where I work. And if they're not there, to at least make the effort to change the culture. Like Maritess said, my seat at the table in having the organizations, the culture and the mission, making sure some kind of way that it's reciprocal. Not only are the nurses on the staff trying to implement and live up to the values, but from a corporate side, are we doing that as well? This podcast encouraged me to do that and to, again, reflect on the guests and the topics that we were talking about and really take them back to the workplace to try to implement them. So I think that's really made a huge difference for me as well.
For me, it opened my horizon. And I agree with your alignment with your personal mission, and just be there and see how you can serve others. The power of storytelling. Stuart always tells us it's about the stories, how you share your personal stories. And that has helped me professionally. When I speak to other people, talk to nurses, they resonate more because it happened to me. It's an experience. And so it really helped me a lot on how to talk. It's sharing your stories and how to really speak to others, because this podcast helped us reflect on who we are and how we can make an impact to others.
The company that I work for now always asks, when anything is requested of education, what's the value add? What is this going to bring to our corporation? How is it going to help our clients? What's the return on investment? And I think storytelling, whether it's through a young career or a tenured career, we've all got those stories. We are all a very well-educated group of professionals, but we also have degrees from the University of Life. And I cannot stress that enough. The stories that we have shared and you will continue to share, Laura and Maritess, are absolutely invaluable. And they cement the value of professional organizations like AMSN, who is the only organization out there specifically for medical surgical nurses, and one that I will continue to advocate for as long as I can. So I think the power of storytelling is very impactful in this platform, and I'm forever grateful for having an opportunity to speak on this platform.
Well, believe it or not, we are out of time. But before we go, we'd like to once again express our thanks and gratitude to Caroline and Parker for sharing your personal and professional lives with our listeners these past 5 years. We'll truly miss you both and already looking forward to having you join us for our special 6th anniversary episode next year.
I was about to say, if you want me to come anytime earlier, I am available. Anytime you guys want me to be a guest on the show, I'm more than happy to do that.
And likewise, it's been a fabulous 5 years. Thank you, everyone. It's been wonderful.
Yes, we'll have our people call your people. Also, a very special thanks to Alissa and Evie for taking the time to dust off their microphones and join us for this 5th anniversary episode and co-host reunion.
My pleasure. It has been so much fun getting the band back together, so I appreciate the invitation.
Thanks for having me. It was wonderful meeting some of you for the first time, certainly having heard you throughout my last 2 years, I guess. And again, I'm going to miss Caroline and Parker and Alissa, our startup team, if you will, our groundbreaking team. We learned so much. As always, thank you to Stuart. You are immensely helpful, patient. You are knowledgeable. I just love how you interacted with us and how you taught us ever so kindly. And I am wishing you all the best in whichever endeavors you pursue.
Thanks again for listening. We'll see you next time, and we look forward to introducing you to our 3 new co-hosts. We look forward to connecting with you on the next episode of Med-Surg Moments, the AMSN podcast. In the meantime, we want to hear from you. Send us your questions, topic ideas, and feedback via our official Med-Surg Moments email address, amsnpod@amsn.org. That's amsnpod@amsn.org.
I'd also like to remind you to become a member of AMSN or renew your membership at www.amsn.org. You receive lots of cool benefits and perks, such as discounted pricing on the annual convention and continuing education.
We encourage you to help us spread the word and subscribe to the Med-Surg Moments podcast via your smartphone podcast app to receive notifications of future episodes. Please be sure to leave us a review and recommend Med-Surg Moments wherever you get your podcasts to help us reach even more listeners.
I invite you to join the conversation by sharing your ideas and questions on AMSN's Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, or Twitter pages. And don't forget to add hashtag Med-Surg Moments to your post. Simply enter AMSN in the search field on any of these social media platforms to connect with us.
The content within the Med-Surg Moments podcast represents the views, thoughts, and opinions of the co-hosts and may not necessarily reflect the views, thoughts, and opinions of the Academy of Medical Surgical Nurses. Until next time, I'm Caroline.
Laura.
And this is Maritess. And always remember, Med-Surg Moments is a moment in our lives, a moment in our Med-Surg careers that makes a huge difference.